let's have a look at what we're going to have a look at today. Okay. All right, let's go right to the top of our lesson. So we're going to start today by looking at our number line. So as you move to the right of the number line, so a little bit of revision on what we did on Monday. Okay, let's have a look at what we did on Monday and just a little bit of revision. As you move to the right of your number line, all right, you know that your integers, and remember, integers can be negative numbers, and then we have 0, and then we also have positive numbers, but they have to be whole numbers, all right? So as you move to the right of the number line, okay, let's grab our pen quickly. So when we go this way, our integers, all right, get larger. Now, why am I using the word integers today and not just the word numbers? Because remember, integers can be both positive and negative. Okay, so that's why I'm using the word integers and not just numbers today. We're talking about integers. So as we move to the right on the number line, our integers get larger in value. As you move to the left on the number line, so if I pick a different color here, let's go with a red. As you move to the left on a number line, all right, our integers, okay, they tend to get smaller in value. So if we grab a highlighter, we can have a look at that. Our highlighter will let us use them here today. All right. Okay. So as we move to the left on our number line, our numbers get smaller. So if we do a comparison there, let's see what I'm talking about. So if we are sitting at the number 1, for instance, all right, and we move to the right on our number line. So if we move 1 across, we get to the number 2. Is the number 1 bigger than the number 2? Yes, we all know that. We've been doing this for a long, long time. All right. As we move across again, we get to the number 3. We get to the number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. So we get bigger in our values as we move to the right. Now, what is different and what is new for you guys, okay, should be, so sorry, our pen doesn't seem to be wanting to cooperate here today, this afternoon. All right. What is new for you guys is when we look, all right, we're going to use a different color rather. Okay, if we had to start at our negative numbers. So let's say we're going to start at -8 now. All right, let's say we start at -8. If we're starting at -8 and we move to the right on our number line, let's see what happens when we move right. We know that when we move to the right on our number line, what happens? Our numbers are going to get bigger. So if we move to the right, we go from -8 to -7. So what does that tell us? That tells us that -7 is greater than -8. If we move over again, we get to -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, and we can move on and on and on. So we see that as we move right, we can see the numbers are getting bigger in value. Okay, if we had to start, all right, let's get rid of all of this for us. Okay, if we had to start at the number -2, let's say. All right, so if we had to start at -2 and we had to move to the left, what do we know about moving to the left? As we move to the left, our numbers are going to get smaller. So when we move 1 left, we get to -3. Good. Thank you, Matthew, for participating. Great, guys. Well done. -3, -4, -5. So we can see that a number like -5 is going to be less than a number like -2. Why do we know that? We know that because -5 is much further left than the number -2. So we're looking at number lines exactly the same as what you did when you first started looking at number lines. Okay, back when you first started counting and we looked at number lines, it's the exact same thing. Any number is greater than all the numbers to its left on a number line or less than all the numbers on its right. So that's what we just looked at now. When we compare two numbers on a number line, the number to the number's right is bigger and the number to the number left is smaller. So let's go have a look at the number -4, for instance. So if we look at the number -4, any number to the right of -4 will be bigger than -4. So let's take an example. All right, if I look at -4 and I look at the number 2, well, here's the number 2 over here. All right, you can tell me in the chat, is the 2 on the right of -4 or is it on the left of -4, guys? Where is the 2? Is it on the right of -4? Is it on the left of -4? It's on the right. Good. So the 2 is on the right of the -4 on the number line. Can you see it? It's there on the right. So what does that mean? What do we know about 2 then? The 2 is going to be bigger than -4. Okay. And in fact, any number that is on the right of -4 will be bigger than -4. Whereas, let's look at the number 8, for instance, here. So we're going to go have a look at the number 8. Any number that's on the left of 8 is going to be less than 8. For example, if we had to go and look at the number -4. All right. So in the chat, you tell me, based on what's on my screen, is -4 on the right of 8 or is it on the left of 8? Good, Tando. Tando's on fire today. All right, it's on the left of 8. Okay, so -4, we can see it's on the left of 8. So what does that mean? It means that -4 is going to be smaller than 8. All right, so any number that's on the left of a number on the number line is going to be smaller. Awesome. Right, so when we compare two integers, right, we often use the symbols of a open sign, so less than and greater than. You might have seen those before. Okay, so you might have seen those before. We've probably done them in school before. A crocodile, I like that. Some people call them a crocodile, exactly. So you must always remember that the symbol always points to the smaller number. We're going to have a look at them a little bit further on. We're going to do 2 practice examples of putting numbers in a number line order, and then we're going to practice this crocodile mouth. Okay, yes, we can also use equal to, but today we're going to practice our greater than and less than. All right. So one way to do this is to imagine that there are dots at the end of each point. All right, so for example, if we had to draw we had 1 and 10, all right, which number is bigger? We know that 10 is going to be bigger than the number 1, hey? So for the 10, we're going to give the 10 2 dots is what we're saying. So we would go and we would draw our 2 dots because that's the bigger number. Which number is smaller? It's the 1, so we would give it 1 dot and we would fill in and draw our arrow. If we were looking at the next one where they gave us 10 and then 1, we would say to ourselves, which number is bigger? Which number is bigger, guys? It's the 10 again, hey? So where the 10 is, we would draw our 2 dots. Where the 1 is, we would draw our 1 dot. And then we would go and we would draw in our arrow. All right, just a different way that you can do it. There is the crocodile mouth as well. And if you've learned how to do the crocodile mouth at school, that's awesome. I learned how to do the crocodile mouth when I was at school, so that's cool too. Crocodile mouth's also a good way to do it, but we're going to use the dot method today to help us out as well. All right, first question that we've got here today, first two questions. Our questions say to us, write these integers. Okay, can you see again? It's not saying numbers. Today we're using the word integers. So before you go and write it in the chat, give everybody a chance. Write these integers from order from least to greatest. So if I'm doing from least to greatest, it's very important that we make sure we understand what those words mean. So least is another way of saying the smallest, and greatest is saying the biggest. All right, so it's very important we understand what those words mean first. If I'm looking at these numbers, I'm looking for the smallest number going up to the biggest number. So I have -9, +3, -23, +6, and -7. I'm going to go draw myself a little number line here to help myself out a little bit. All right, I'm going to go put my fake 0 here because that's where my 0 would be. All right, I'm going to go and just estimate where these numbers are on the number line. So the first number I have there is -9. I'm going to say -9. Okay, I'm going to put them somewhere about there. So I'm not drawing a proper number line. I'm just guessing where it's going to be. They haven't asked me to draw a number line. I'm just using it to help me guess where all the numbers are. All right. The next number I see there is the number 3. I know that the number 3 is on the right of 0. So I'm going to put my number 3 somewhere about here. Then I've got -23. And because I've done so much practice with my number line now, and I understand my number line so well, I know that -23 is going to come to the left of -9. So when I go put my -23 in, oopsie daisy, I'm going to make sure that I've left myself enough space here, and I'm just going to make my number line a little bit longer. All right, I know that my -23 is probably going to come somewhere about there because -3 is way over to the left of -9. Oh, yeah. My next number is +6, so 6 will be somewhere about there. And the last number they've given me there is -7. So if I look at -7, I know that -7 is going to fall somewhere before -9. All right. Just to make sure that I don't confuse myself, I'm going to go scratch out the 0 because there was no 0 in my numbers. I just used it to help me out. And now I'm going to go write my answer. So I've got write integers in order from least to greatest. I've got -23, -9, -7, 3, and then 6. I'm going to give you a chance to do it now. The next question is asking you, write these integers in order from greatest, so that's the biggest, to the least, to the smallest. So write these in order from the biggest to the smallest. I'm not going to give you long. I'm going to give you 1 minute to give it a try. Okay, give it a go. All right. Do not write your answers in the chat. Give it a go first. All right. If anyone has a question, Brianna already has her hand up. Brianna, how can I help? You're unmuted.
Ma'am, I have a quick question about the negative numbers, ma'am.
Sure.
Ma'am, so if you say which one is greater than, should we choose the number which looks small, like for an example, -23 and -9. So is -9 bigger than -23?
Exactly, Brianna. You have a look and you think about your number line. And remember, at your number line, your number line is going to look like this, hey? 0, 1, 2. And remember when we looked on Monday at the number line, straight before the 0, what's the opposite of 1 is going to be? Negative 1. Then you're going to have negative 2. So what do we know about the number line? The numbers are going the opposite way, hey?
Yes, ma'am.
Which means that negative 23 is going to be less than negative 9, hey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does it make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Awesome. You're welcome. Guys, please feel free to ask Teacher Hugo as well in the chat. He's more than happy to answer questions there as well, because I won't get to all of your questions today. Okay. Dimple, can I answer your question?
Ma'am,
Yes.
I don't understand how do you order from the least to the greatest?
Okay. Did you understand how I did it now in this question when I explained it? Did you go through it with us slowly?
No, because my father was calling me.
Oh dear. Okay, Dimple. So what I would suggest is maybe at the end of the lesson, stay on the call and we can go through it again together slowly. All right. Otherwise, if I don't get a chance, Dimple, because it might be likely because there's always lots and lots of questions, the lesson is recorded and you can go and you can watch it again on Watobe's website. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thanks, Dimple. All right. Umpile is the last question I'm going to answer for now. Umpile? You are unmuted.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, how can I help?
Ma'am, for question number 3, ma'am.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I'm done with it, ma'am. So, I just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
So, when we do it, right, we have to say the biggest number minus. So, it'll be minus 19, comma, minus 15.
Okay, let's have a look together. Okay, Umpile. All right, nice
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
Umpile is done. So I think a lot of you are done. Thank you, Umpile. Let's have a look at it. All right. So Umpile is saying to me, write the integers from greatest now to least. So again, I like to do my number line, okay, right? Because number lines help me. I think number lines are really, really helpful. So here's my number line. Okay, I'm going to go put 0 in and oh, look at that. They gave me 0 as one of the numbers now. So that's great. All right. My first number there is the number 8. So I know the number 8 is on the right of the 0. So there's 8. The next number is negative 13. I know negative 13 is going to be on the left. So on the left, I'm going to go put negative 13. My next number is negative 19. Remember what happens with the number line. Remember when we were practicing number lines earlier on? We know that where will we find negative 19? We'll find negative 19 to the left of negative 13 because it goes 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. So it goes to the opposite of the way that the normal number line goes. Then I have 0, which I went and put on my number line already. Then I have the number 11. So 11 is going to be greater than the number 8. And finally, I have the number negative 15. So I've run out of a little bit of space here. I'm going to go and fix this up a little bit. I'm going to put negative 13 a little bit closer, and I'm going to put negative 15 over there. All right. So now I've got all my numbers. I've put them into order. Now I'm going to read the question again. The question says, write these integers from the greatest. So the greatest means the biggest number to the least, to the smallest number. So if I'm going from the greatest to the least, that means I'm going to start from here and work my way down. Okay, so I'm going to go. My first number is 11. And then I've got the number 8. And then I have the number 0. And then I have the number negative 13, negative 15, and negative 19. All right, so make sure that you're putting them in the right order, that you've read the question correctly. Okay, so remember, if it's asking you from greater to smaller, you must go look at the biggest number. The biggest number is going to be all the way on the right on the number line. Right. So we're going to move on. I will answer some of your questions a little bit later on. Let's have a look. My next part now is we're going to use our crocodile mouth or our greater than and smaller than signs, whichever one you call it at school. And my first part says to us, use this number line to fill in the appropriate symbol, less than or greater than, in each blank. So I'm going to do some with you. Please don't put the answers in the chat. Okay. I'm going to do some with you and then I'm going to let you do some by yourself and I'm going to answer some questions. All right. So I'm looking at my number line. I've always used my number line in the past. I know how a number line works. Numbers to the right of a number means that they are bigger than. Numbers to the left of a number means that they are smaller than. So my very first one, I'm looking for the number -2. And I'm looking for the number 5. So if I take it from the number -2, what can I see? I can see that the number 5 is a lot bigger, okay, because it's to the right of the number -2. Have a look where -2 is sitting on that number line. -2 is sitting all the way to the left of the number 5. So earlier on, I said to you, what do? The number that's bigger, we put 2 dots. Okay, because it's bigger, gets 2 dots. The number that's smaller gets 1 dot. And then we join the dots. All right. Let's have a look at the next one, and then I will answer some questions. I've got 5, and I've got 1. If I'm looking at 5 and 1, we know 5 and 1, okay, we've been doing that one for a while, but if we look at it on the number line, what do we see? We see that the number 1 is sitting to the left of the number 5. If we look at it from the number 1's perspective, the number 5 is to the right of the number 1, which means what? It means that 5 is much bigger than 1. Remember what I said to you. The number that's bigger gets 2 dots. The number that's smaller only gets 1 dot. So the number 5 will get 2 dots. The number 1 gets 1 dot. And I join the dots. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you and then I'm going to answer some questions. So I've got the numbers 0 and 3. So I'm going to go to my trusty timeline. I've got 0 and I've got 3. What can I see from 0 and 3? Well, looking at the timeline, I know that 3 is the bigger number. 0 is the smaller number. So I'm going to join my dots. All right, go and try some of those on your pen and paper. I'm going to answer 3 questions in the meantime while you're doing those. So first person here I've got is Nyaleti. You are unmuted. What's your question? Nyaleti, have you got a question for me? Okay, and Nyaleti has gone off. Unati, you are unmuted. How can I help you?
Yes. Ma'am?
Yes, Unati, what's up?
Can you please go a little bit up? I want to talk
Okay.
to you about something.
Sure, no problem. Let's have a look. That one over there, Unati?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Wasn't
Which-
the answer supposed? Wasn't the answer was supposed to be minus 19 and minus 15, minus 30 and 0
Okay,
and
so
8 and
Unati,
11?
so
Oh,
Unati,
come
remember we are going from the greatest, so the biggest number, the greatest, to the least, to the smallest. So if we put those numbers on a number line like we did just now, all right, what do we know? What can we see? We can see that the greatest number on our number line will be the number 11, all right? And the smallest number on our number line will be negative 19. Okay, so if you're unsure, go back, watch the video of when we did it, all right? Draw yourself a number line, have a look at it, and you're going to go from the greatest to the least number. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
I understand, ma'am.
You're not sure what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes.
So, Nati, if you had to put it on a number line, here's your number line, hey? Okay, is that your number line? Do you agree that's a number line?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, here's the number 0.
But you must
okay?
add numbers.
Huh? That's the number 0. Here I would have negative 19,
Yes.
negative 15, negative 13, 0,
Negative
8,
13,
and 11.
8, 11.
All right, now, Nati, it's asked me to go from the biggest number to the smallest number, greatest to the least. So pretend that those negative numbers aren't there. Right, if I was going from the greatest to the smallest, and it was just the numbers 0, 8, and 11, which would be the greatest number out of 0, 8, and 11, Unati?
I think it will be 11.
It'll be 11, good. All right, it's 11. So what's the greatest number on this number line? What's the greatest number?
8.
It's 11, hey?
Oh,
Okay, so even though the negative numbers are there, the greatest number, it's the number that's to the furthest to the right, is the greatest number. Does it make sense, Unati?
I see, ma'am.
Good. I think it's the word.
I see, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Nati. Thank you for your question. All right. We are going to answer some of these questions.
No
and I will
problem.
no problem. I will come back to your questions a bit later, everybody. Okay. So let's have a look. You had 1 and negative 3. Sorry. Let's go here. So I had negative 4 and 0. I know that 0 is greater than negative 4. I had 1 and negative 3. I know that 1 is greater than negative 3. I had negative 1 and negative 4. I know negative 1 is greater than negative 4. I have negative 2 and negative 3. I know negative 2 is greater than negative 3. And finally, I have 5 and negative 5. I know that 5 is greater than negative 5. Okay, so I hope that you got some of those right. Okay, if you're not sure, we are going to practice some more. Okay, so don't stress. It might be the first time some of you have done it before, so don't stress if you don't understand. We're going to do it again. If you got 100%, well done. All right, let's move on to the next part and we can do it again. Okay, so next part says to us, fill in the blanks with a greater than or a less than symbol. So now I haven't given you a number line. Okay, so now I haven't given you a number line, but can you do the sum without having a number line? All right, you can. Okay, so you can do the sum without doing a number line. All right, either you can do the number line by putting the number line in your head. So some people do it that way, or you can draw yourself a small number line. All right, so there's 2 different ways that you can tackle this. Either if you understand it and you can do it in your head, that's perfect. Or you can draw yourself a small number line. So we're going to do the first one together. It says 4 and 8. Well, I know that 8 is bigger than 4. So that one we know. That one we've been doing for a while. That one we're good with. Okay. Now I have -5 and -20. So that one might be tricking us up a little bit. Okay, so the easier way to do it, guys, is to draw your number line. Okay, so I'm going to draw myself another little number line over here. Remember, what would my little number line look like? I would have 0, and then I would have -1, -2, -3, -4, so I would have -5. And where would -20 come? It would come down over there, because my negative numbers are the opposites of my positive numbers. And if you're not sure, what can you do to help yourself out? You can go and you can draw some of the positive numbers on here as well. 1, 2, so you can tell yourself, I know the positive numbers go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The negative numbers are going to go -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Because remember, the negative numbers need to be the opposite of their positive numbers. All right. So if I'm looking at -5 and -20, those are the two numbers I'm focused on. All right. I need to know which number is sitting to the left of the other number. Well, I can see that -20 is way down to the left, okay, of -5, which means that -5 is bigger than -20. Okay, -5 is going to be bigger than -20. Okay, if we go and have a look at -6 and -15, again, can go draw ourselves a little number line. 0, 1, 2, right? So on this side, I've had -1, -2, and then I would go and get -6, and eventually I would get to -15. Okay, so if I'm looking at these two numbers, I want to look at -6 and -15, right? Which one, now let's do it from the right. So which one is on the right? Which one is further right? It's -6. Good, I'm seeing some good answers. Well done, everybody. So I know that -6 is further to the right. So it's closer to the 0. It's further to the right of the -15. The -15 is way to the left. So -6 is going to be bigger than the -15. And the last one that I'm doing with you, and then you're going to try some by yourself, is 10 and -2. Again, you can go draw your diagram, but we know that 10 is most definitely going to be bigger than -2. All right. I'm going to move this to the side for you guys so that you can try now. So there's 4 for you to try. I'm going to answer some questions that are here. Let's have a look. So I've got Nandi. Nandi, how can I help?
Ma'am,
Yes.
when you have the same number that's negative, as in like, ma'am, if I have -5 with -5, how do I do that, ma'am?
So if it's -5 like this, and it's -5 like that, then I know that they are going to be equal. They're the same number.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, no problem. Okay, I've got Indanine.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, how can I help?
Ma'am, when we go with a minus or with a pluses. Ma'am,
Yeah, I can hear you. When we go with the minuses or the pluses, yeah?
we go with the minus or with the pluses, or we go with the numbers that is bigger than, like,
So,
maybe.
so it's always good to trust so a plus is always going to be bigger than a minus. I agree with you. Definitely. A plus is always going to be bigger than a minus, most definitely. But it's also really good to have a look at your number line as well, because sometimes they're not always going to give you a plus and a plus. Sometimes they're going to give you two negative numbers to look at. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we must make sure that we practice all of those. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
Nice question though. Well done. All right. I've got some Simo. You are unmuted. Hi.
Hi, I actually joined late in the class. Can you please actually explain for me more? Like
So-
a few things.
So Simo, unfortunately, I can't do that because we do need to move on. But Simo, this lesson is recorded. And if you did arrive late, you can go back. It will be available on Watobe's website, and it will also be available on YouTube for you to watch as well. Okay, one more question. So I've got Nkose. Nkose in Schlench. Nkose in Schlen. You are unmuted. Okay, I'm all right. I'm going to try one more. So Michelle, you are unmuted.
Ma'am, I'm kind of like trying to understand how do you do the number line? How do you find out that this is negative and this is positive?
Okay, cool. Michelle, were you in our lesson on Monday?
No, I wasn't here.
Okay, so Michelle, I would suggest go back to, so if you are one of Watobe's students that are registered with us, which I suggest you do because it's really good and you get access to all these lessons, all right? And you can go onto Watobe's website and the lesson from Monday is there. Or if you go onto YouTube and you look for Watobe, Monday's lesson is there. And on Monday, we did lots and lots of practice on how to put the numbers on the number line, okay? So go have a look. I promise if you go and you have a look and you work through the examples we did, you'll get it. I promise.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. You're welcome. All right. I am going to move on and we will answer some questions a little bit later on. So, right. I'm going to answer these for you. Let's have a look at how you did. So I've got -10 and 15. So I know that 15 is greater than -10. I've got -6 and -12. I know that -6 is greater than -12. I've got -15 and -9. I know that -9 will be greater than -15. And I've got 0 and I've got -15. I know that 0 is going to be greater than -15. Okay. All right, so I have a challenge for us today. So a little bit of a brain break. We didn't get to adding integers today, but we will get to that on Monday. So we're going to add that to our lesson on Monday. I hope that you understood all of what we've done today. Okay, Mr. Hugo, we are going to move on to the brain break for them. In the meantime, I'm going to let Mr. Hugo also talk to you about where you can find the challenge in the meantime. But let's put your challenge up. So have a look at the challenge for today. While you're looking at that challenge, Mr. Hugo is going to chat to you.
Okay, I assume you want me to chat about the quiz and the
Yes,
quiz link
please,
I
Mr.
will.
Hugo.
Okay, the quiz link I will put in the chat, and I need you all to do the quiz link, click on it and do the quiz before you leave the chat. Once you have the quiz link, you may leave, but don't leave before you have the quiz link, please.
All right, so the quiz link is coming to you. All right, the quiz link is coming to you in the chat. Make sure that you do the quiz link. Once you've got the quiz link, you can log out. Let's have a look at our challenge for today, our little brain break. So we have an apple plus an apple plus an apple plus an apple gives me 28. My goodness. So in other words, I've got 4 things times each other. So 4 of the same thing equals 28. Anyone in the chat who wants to tell me what is the apple equal to? Who knows? What is the apple? Anyone worked it out? What's the apple equal to do today? Who's got it? Write it in the chat for me. Tell me in the chat, what's the apple equal to? Who's got it? Anybody? Well done, Matthew. Nice. Matthew is on fire today. He answered so many questions. Well done, Matthew. Well done, guys. Oh, so many people. Nice. So our apple is equal to 7. Great. So we've got an apple that's equal to 7. And we're timesing that by a pair, and that's giving us 21. So an apple times by a pair is giving me 21. Who can tell me what my pair is equal to today? Nice. Nice, Tara Jane. Nice, Mishle, Tando. All of us in there. Our pair is equal to 21 today. So now I've got my pear times by my mushroom minus my apple is going to give me 17. So this one's a bit tricky. This one's a little bit tricky. Okay, have a look at it. All right, let's have a look at how I would get it. So I'm going to, first, I'm going to go and I'm going to take my, what should I do? What should I do? First, I'm going to go and I'm going to take my 7 across. Okay, so I'm going to go and take my 7 across. And when I take my 7 across, I'm going to get that it's equal to, so if I take the 7 away from this side, all right, and I put the 7 on this side instead, it gives me 24. All right, so 3 times by what is going to give me 24, everybody? 3 times what gives me 24? 8, nice. So my mushroom is equal to 8. So now I have my apple of 7, my mushroom of 8, times by my pear, which was 3. All right, what is my grand total? What's my grand total answer for today? Don't forget your bod mass.
When I'm going to quiz.
What do we get? Good. I'm seeing some good answers. All right. I get 51. Let me make sure. 7 times by 8 gives me 56. I get 51. So if you got 51 today for the challenge, well done, everybody. If you're not sure, take a screenshot, go try it again. All right. Try and get the answer again. See how we got it. Make sure that you give it another try. Make sure that you've done the quiz for today. If there are any additional questions, I will be staying on the chat for a few minutes extra, not for very long, but a few minutes extra. And I will be answering a few more questions for today's lesson, which was on integers. All right. If you got the challenge right today, well done, everybody. Okay, if you have no more questions and you've got the link for the quiz, you are more than welcome to log off. We will see you all on Monday. So Monday, there will be a lesson. Right, Matthew, you are unmuted. How can I help?
Ma'am, I've done the quiz 3 times before we started.
Oh, already? Well done. And?
The 3rd time I got full marks.
Nice. Well done, Matthew. High fives. Was it hard?
Not quite.
Good. I'm glad. Matthew, well done. I'm really proud of you. Well done for trying 3 times. Good for going back and trying it again. Well done, Matthew.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Fake Friday. Right. Ruth, you're unmuted. How can I help? Ruth, you unmuted? What's your question? Okay, I'm going to try Ruth once more. Ruth, do you have a question for me? Ruth, I'm going to try you once more. If not, I'm going to move on.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Ruth, what's your question?
Ma'am, I didn't understand the first thing that you did.
The first thing that I did.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
back on the number line, am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's go all the way up. So was it, oh dear. This one over here, Ruth, write them from least to greatest.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you ready? We're going to do it again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you got your pen ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so for those of you who've got the same question, everybody, please make sure you're listening in. All right, so I'm going to answer this question once more. I'm going to go through it again slowly. So if you've got the same question, make sure that you're listening, okay? So the question says to me, write these integers from least, so least means smallest, to greatest. Greatest means biggest. All right. When I'm dealing with integers and I'm having to put them in order, I like to put everything on a number line. So I'm going to draw a number line here for myself. Ruth, does it make sense why I want to draw a number line?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So I'm going to draw a number line. Now, Ruth, for me, if I'm drawing a number line, I want to know where the number 0 is. Don't you want to know where the number 0 is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I want to know where the number 0 is. So I'm going to put the number 0 here nice and big, because the reason I'm doing that is because 0 wasn't one of the numbers that they gave me. Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So now the first number that they've given me there is -9. So Ruth, which side of 0 is -9? Is it on the right side or is it on the left side?
On the left side.
Good, it's on the left side. So I'm going to go and I'm going to put -9 somewhere over here. Are you happy with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. The next number they've given me is 3. Which side is 3? On the left side or the right side?
The right side.
The right side. Good. So I'm going to go put 3 somewhere over here. You good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Right. -23. All right. Where are we going to put -23, Ruth? Where will -23 go? Will it go on the left side? Good. Now, -23, will it go like closer to the 0 or will it go all the way on the left side?
All the way on the left side.
Fantastic. It's going to go all the way. It's going to come all the way down here, hey? Because we know when we practice doing this and putting the numbers on the number line on Monday, we know that this is how it works. Good. Well done. Number 6. Where's number 6 going to go?
On the right side.
On the right side. Good. And we know it's going to go over there. And finally, -7. Where are we going to find -7? Where can we put -7?
On the left side.
On the left side. And can we put it maybe in between these two numbers here?
Yes.
Okay. Then do you agree with me? I'm going to go and I'm going to erase this number 0 because 0 wasn't actually there, hey?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't want to get confused. So I'm going to take 0 out because 0 is not one of the numbers. All right. Now it says, arrange it from least. Least means smallest to greatest, hey? Greatest means biggest.
Biggest.
So let's go. What's the smallest number on this number line?
23.
Good. Not just 23. Negative. Good.
Negative.
It's -23. Then
-9.
it's 9. Hey?
Negative 9.
Good. Then
-7.
good. Then
3.
good. And then
6.
nice. Does it make sense now, Ruth?
Yes, ma'am.
Well done. Okay. You've got this. All right. Go try the quiz for me. Okay. Good luck.
Bye.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful long weekend. All right. Awangwe, you, sorry, Awangwe, I did not unmute you. I'm going to put it on your screen for you. Awangwe, do you want to unmute yourself and ask me your question?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, what's your question?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, for the integers, ma'am, is it like a must for us to put the number line?
It's not a must, okay? So if you can do it without doing the number line, that's fine. So if you can do it without the number line, awesome, okay? If you know how to do it without it, perfect. But for me, I like to put the number line there because you know what happens when you're in a test, hey? What happens when
ma'am.
you're in a test?
Ma'am, you have to like calculate it.
You have to calculate it, you get stressed, okay? You get overwhelmed, all right? And then everything goes out your brain, am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know about you, but that happens to me when I'm in a test. So I like to put the number line there so that I know, okay, for certain that I'm going to get the right answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you don't have to. You know how to do it without the number line? You don't have to put it there, no. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Have a wonderful long weekend.
Thank you, ma'am. You too.
All right. To me. To me, you should be able to unmute yourself. All right, I'm not sure if Tumi is still here, so I'm going to move on to Kemo. You are unmuted. Do you want me to ask me your question?
Is there another way to work out integers?
Is there another way to work out integers? Do you want to give me an example of a question?
Ma'am, I'm asking if there's another way.
So what kind of question do you want to ask me? What kind of question? Like the one that we just did?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm sure there probably are other ways. The best way though is to put it on a number line, to be honest. If I think of the easiest way to do it, the easiest way for me is to do it on a number line, because that's the way you've been doing math since you were in primary school, is number lines, hey? Okay, were you in our lesson on Monday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you saw on Monday how we use the number line, hey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you're not 100% sure and you're still a little bit uncertain, I would say go back, watch that video from Monday, go back to today, watch the video from today and practice. Practice all the questions we did on Monday, practice all the questions from today, and then you'll get it, I promise, okay? All right, have a really good long weekend.
You too, ma'am.
All right, Angel, how can I help?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yep.
Ma'am, do you teach only grade 7 to 12 or you also do lower grades?
So at the moment, I'm only doing grade 7 at Watobe. I also did a maths lit class this week, but I only do the grade 7s at the moment.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Have a good evening, Angel. Have a really good long weekend.
You too, ma'am.
Angel, if I can say something for a second.
Angel, there's Mr.
Okay, sir.
Angel, I would suggest if you would like us to do younger grades, you are more than welcome to send a request to the Watobe WhatsApp number.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
It's a really good idea. Thank you, Hugo. All right. Have a good Fake Friday. All right. I'm answering one more question. Unfortunately, we don't have time to answer everybody's questions, but if you do have something that Mr. Hugo can answer in the chat, please ask him in the chat while I answer this one more question. So I've got one more question to answer here. I'm going to answer Nkosi Slen. Nkosi, you are unmuted. Yes.
Is it a must to do the quiz?
Is there?
Is a must to do the quiz?
I'm sorry, you're going to have to ask your question once more. We can't hear you very clearly.
And is it a must to do the quiz?
Is it a must to do the quiz? It's quite important because it shows you how you're doing in class, where you get going, what you don't understand, what you might need to answer questions on. So I would do the quiz. Yes, you do. It is a must to do the quiz.
Thanks, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to answer one more question because that wasn't a question on maths. So I've got Saber. Can I answer your question, Sabira? You are unmuted.
Ma'am, I was asking, is the previous episodes available on YouTube?
Yes, they are on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you search Watobe, and you can find you look for the grade 7 ones specifically. Yes, they are on YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Right, last one, Brianna. Brianna, what's your question?
Ma'am, what is our next topic after integers, ma'am?
After integers, we are moving on to functions.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Brianna. All right, and there's one person left with their hands up. Amor, you are unmuted.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can you please recap about Monday's lesson? Because I wasn't here.
So this previous Monday that we had.
Yeah.
So if you go back and you have a look on, are you one of Watobe's members? Hey, are you a member for Watobe?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go onto Watobe's website, the whole of Monday's lesson is actually on the website and you can watch it from start all the way to finish. And if you can't find it on there, is there, I promise. But if you can't find it on there, you'll be able to find it on YouTube, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Have a good weekend.
Have a really good long weekend.